Welcome! This video contains an introduction, an interview so you can gain deeper understanding of the subject from spirit level, and a group frequency calibration so you can start to clear the frequency distortion patterns around this topic. Enjoy! Hi everyone, my name is Karen Cheong, and I'm here with my co-host Dennis Kelly. Today we're going to be talking about one of the most powerful resources that we have access to. It's unlimited, and we all have access to it, irrespective of our race, our gender, or our class. This unlimited reservoir of pure power is our Mother Earth, or nature. Now, you may have noticed that you ever spend time on the beach, or if you walk in the woods or in the mountains, you start to feel better. Why is that? It's because we're unconsciously starting to tap into this very pure frequency that we call Mother Earth. So today we're going to be discussing how to more easily, more deeply, and more frequently connect to this unlimited reservoir of pure power so you can accelerate your journey. So let's jump right in. Dennis?
You know, Karen, I think we all have come to realize how powerful, just so powerful, Mother Earth is. You know, could you help us with how can we harness that power?
Sure. So what I'll say is I'll tell you why she's so powerful first,
Okay.
and then I'm going to answer the how.
Okay.
Okay? I will get to the how.
That's a deal.
Okay. So the reason is because she forms the density, right? So it creates the DNA, all that sort of stuff. So here we are, disembodied spirit, and she provides the DNA, the form, the density. Okay, so you need spirit and earth together to create this density, this physical reality. Okay, so when connected to Mother Earth, there's a very pure frequency that runs through her, and what can happen is if we can harness that, we can then clear out a number of distortion patterns, and we can also reset into the collective present now. So that's two benefits to her right off the bat. Does that make sense? So if you go into nature or the woods, or you go into the beach, and you have that feeling of timelessness.
There we go.
Or you have that feeling of just being really present to the waves. And it doesn't matter, or if you're just looking at the clouds in the sky, all you're doing is sitting and being and watching the clouds. There's really no need to go anywhere. You've just dropped into the collective present moment. And it feels really good because if you've noticed, if you walk on the beach barefoot, you come away feeling very relaxed. And you notice most people at the beach are quite happy.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really see a ton of cranky people at the beach. They're usually happy people. And it's because their feet are in the sand. And if you walk particularly on the place where the water comes up over the sand, you get the amplification of the earth frequency by the water, okay? Because water is crystalline and in nature so that it can amplify things. It's an amplifier. So it will amplify the frequency, the purity of the frequency of Mother Earth, which when coming through us, because we're of her frequency, it's clearing for us. And when people say it's grounding, well, it feels grounding because you've just emptied out all this toxicity into the earth. Does that make sense? So it allows us to clear out the things that don't serve us, especially things that are static in nature, like electricity or electromagnetic fields. And they've done all these studies of what they call earthing. And there are these areas underneath your feet that if you contact them with the earth, and you do it for, I can't remember if it's 20 or 40 minutes, so read the book Earthing, because I actually don't remember which it is, but if you put your feet on the earth and you could stand under these electromagnetic towers and it would pass through you into the earth. Kind of like, like a lightning rod. Yeah. They put the lightning rod in and then it goes through the rod into the ground. Similarly, those negative electromagnetic fields will go into the earth. And if you don't ground, then you just hold it in your body. You hold all those negative electromagnetic waves in your body, which is extremely toxic for us and can cause mutation and disease and all this sort of thing. And they've done these studies with these things called earthing mats, which are grounding mats, and that if you stand on them, it's similar to standing on the earth. But by putting your feet on the earth for either 20 or 40 minutes, that I can't remember right now, you can drop out all these negative ions that you have in your body running through you from just being around your digital devices.
Wow.
And so, but you need to have your feet on the earth, not shoes, feet. So anyway.
Can I throw out a challenge?
Sure, good.
Because, it sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
I think we all love the beach and the redwoods and the mountains and but, let's say we live in a part of the world where we just don't have those options, let's say in the Midwest or wherever that might be. and I work a job from 8 to 5, and I go home, and during the winter it's hard to get outside. And so how do I harness nature in this type of lifestyle?
Okay, so I grew up in Montreal, Canada, where there was winter a lot of the years, like 8 months out of the year. I would go outside anyway. So I know not everyone's up for it, but you can snowshoe, you can ski, you can skate, you can downhill ski, you can snowboard, you can walk outside. So even if it's really cold out, you can still walk outside. You just bundle up and you go. Now I realize that may be a hurdle for some people to go outside in the cold, and when it's like blizzarding, and I get that it's more difficult to go outside. I understand that. So if that's the case and you can't actually physically go outside because it's like very, very inclement weather, then what you can do to harness the power of the earth is to use an earthing mat. You could have plants around you. That will work because they carry the frequency of the earth. Some people like the feeling of rocks or crystals. You can use them. You can have a pet and spend time with your pet because they often will help transmute those things. So if you can't go outside, then you can be inside and use those things. But even if, for example, it's winter and you're not going to go out barefoot in the winter, at least most people aren't, you could still go outside. And that, because we would spend a lot of time outside in the winter playing or downhill skiing or cross-country skiing or snowshoeing or whatever it was. So you can still go outside and be active even in winter. So that's what I would suggest for that. So to go back to your question of how do you harness the power of the Mother Earth, I just mentioned a number. The other way you can do that is to if you replace your light bulbs with the full spectrum light bulbs. So, everything has a flicker frequency, with light, there's a flicker frequency. So what I have found is the ones that mimic full spectrum light, or what they call sunlight, do have the best results on people. People tend to relax more in them, and for some reason we feel better in that kind of light as opposed to like the blue light of a fluorescent bulb or that type of thing. So if you have something that's a full spectrum light, that feels better to us. So you can use that for light. You can use things like if you cannot go outside for some reason, you can look out your window at the sky. That is still connecting to the earth frequency. You can totally do that if you want to. Sometimes people are very audio sensory, that's what I'm trying to say. So if you like, you can play, they have all those white noise things now on, you can listen to the sound of rain, or you can listen to the sound of water washing over pebbles, right? Because that feels really good. Or even, for example, people you can go to hot springs, if it's the winter time, so it's warm and you're in the water, that would be something good. So there are many, many ways. I mean, if you're in contact with a natural element to some degree, you can harness the power of the earth. It's just being mindful about how much time you're away from it and how much time you spend with things that give off what feels to me like a very static flicker frequency. Like your digital devices have a flicker frequency that's very fast and is very hypnotic. So you'll notice it's very entrancing. In fact, I don't watch things because it's hard for me to disengage from them. I become a total zombie. It's ridiculous, actually. I just become a total trance, and it's not good for me. So I deliberately do not know how to turn on my television because I don't want to go there. It's just knowing myself. So just be aware of how much you're in front of an electronic device, because I'm not saying it's an electromagnetic wave, but it's a kind of flicker frequency that makes us very, it's dissonant in our system, and it can cause a lot of toxicity if you're not dumping it somehow, meaning connecting somehow to the earth in some way to release it.
I think there's been a lot of studies now about, that type of situation, especially with children, where they're parked in front of that TV for 3 or 4 hours, and the impact it has. And so what you're saying is it's just important to connect with Mother Earth, however that might be. And the thing about it is you don't have to do something amazing.
No.
You just be, just be in that space.
Just be in that space. And then the GFC that's going to follow this, I'm going to amplify the frequency of Mother Earth. Okay? So that will help you if you can't, so that's another way you can do it. So if you don't have access to Going outside, for example. You can play this on a loop when you're sleeping, and it will help to amplify the frequency, the purity frequency of Mother Earth, which will help to be cleansing and grounding, and you'll wake up refreshed because of that running through you in your sleep time. So that's something you can play it on very, very low volume in the background, and that will help. Or even just listening to it if you want to actively, it's fine too. Wow. But I'm going to amplify that, and then we'll have the benefit of that frequency being amplified. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that what you can do is for people who tend to float out of their bodies. Okay, so you probably know who you are because you tend to be a little bit spacey, you're a little bit like scattered all over the place. People have told you probably before that you seem a little ungrounded. Chances are people have noticed other than you. One thing you can do to connect to Mother Earth is simply doing it with your intention. That's another way to do it. So what you can do is, and I'll do this in the meditation as well, but you can do it with your own volition, your own intention, which is simply to imagine your tailbone connecting all the way into the very center of the earth and having that energy, frequency, vibration come up through your tailbone and up through your spine. And then your spine starting to vibrate with that frequency. So you can do that simply with your quote unquote imagination, wow, which is as real as anything else, but anyway. So just if you imagine that or can feel that, then that will work as well, because you can use that as a way. You can sit in a meeting with your eyes open and be participating and do that inside yourself, and that will be very grounding, and you can harness the frequency, energy, vibration of Mother Earth to come up through your spine, and that will be helping you release toxicity, negativity, that type of thing, and keep you in your body and in the collective present now, very present. And in fact, you're probably doing a service for everyone else in that meeting by doing that yourself, so that because you are so present, that you're helping everyone else in that room. Because usually meetings are, I don't know why, they're often conducted in windowless spaces, but in my corporate experience, typically that's where they occur. I don't know why exactly, but in any case, that's helpful in that scenario as well. So you don't even physically have to hold it or touch anything. You can do that internally, and that will work as well.
So I think I heard you say that after this conversation, you're going to provide a GFC that's going to help us connect with that Mother Earth frequency.
Yeah, and not only connect with it, but amplify the frequency. Yep. So you all can connect on your own, that's no problem. It's just the amplification can be really helpful, because it's harder when you have more distortion patterns to access it and amplify it as much. And the more that you clear, the more that you can do that. Yeah.
And so this would be one of those recordings that down the road I could pull out and listen to.
Yeah.
If I'm having one of those days where I just can't quite get centered or balanced.
Yeah.
Is with that frequency of the recording, I could really start to kind of
totally.
Okay.
Yeah, and totally use it as a tool. Yeah.
Well, Mother Earth, nothing quite like it.
I know.
It's fantastic to think that, as we grow, is that connection can become stronger and stronger.
Totally. And what I will also add, just one note as you were mentioning that, is to the more you send gratitude to Mother Earth. Okay, so let's imagine you're now inside a meeting and you want to connect internally through your tailbone into the center of the earth. What I find what amplifies it even more is if I send gratitude by saying, thank you for, thank you for all. Really, she gives us form, so thank you for everything. I mean, my form would not exist without her. So it's just like the thank you for helping me exist. So, and for providing this spectacular thing that what I call my reality. And so I just thank her. It can be very simple, just thank you to the consciousness of Mother Earth, and then connect. If you do that, that will intensify the frequency for you. So I just wanted to make that little note before we end as a distinction. Yeah.
So there's certainly a reason it's Mother Earth.
Yeah, totally.
Yes, yeah. So, wow. Yeah. So, well, Karen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Karen, could you help me? I hear so often when I look at your video or your website, GFC. Exactly what is that?
A GFC is a group frequency calibration, which looks a lot like a guided meditation on a particular topic. And what I'm doing is I'm helping you to remove the distortion patterns of that particular topic. And because you're coming together as a mastermind in a group to connect to pure source even more and to clear the distortion patterns of this particular topic, what happens is a tremendous amount of momentum starts to happen because of the energetic of the entire group. And each individual is able to move faster and ascend higher than they could have on their own. Welcome, everyone. This is the Group Frequency Calibration on tapping into the power of Mother Earth. So let's begin by taking 3 breaths into your lower belly, wherever that is for you. So just bring your attention, focus awareness, or imagine your lower belly. Taking a deep breath in, holding it for at least 2 to 4 seconds before exhaling all the air out of your lungs and holding out your exhaled breath for at least 1 to 2 seconds. And when you're ready, on your second breath, please inhale and hold your inhaled breath for at least 1 to 2 seconds longer than you did your previous breath before exhaling all the air out of your lungs and holding out your exhaled breath for at least 1 to 2 seconds longer than you did your previous breath. And whenever you are ready, on your third breath, please inhale and hold your breath in for as long as you possibly can. And when you feel like you can't hold it in any longer, please hold it in for 1 second longer. And when you get there, please exhale all the air out of your lungs and hold out your exhaled breath for as long as you possibly can. And when you feel like you can't hold your exhaled breath out any longer, please hold it out for 1 second longer. So we're mirroring, stretching your capacity in the physical body in addition to your spirit body. And when you are complete with your 3 breaths, please breathe normally into your lower belly. I'm waiting for the mastermind to gel. And in the meantime, for those of you who are new, please note that I am working on you at the group and the subgroup level, and that I will be making sounds on my end. So you may hear me exhale sharply, you may hear me yawn, even though I'm not tired, and you may hear me hum. So please note that's how I remove the frequency distortion patterns, or move frequencies generally speaking. So, at least as of right now. So please use this as an opportunity to strengthen your focus on your end. Good. Here we go. So now, please bring your attention to your your xiphoid process, which is that spot right underneath the base of your sternum. So your sternum is that big, thick bone in the center of your chest where your ribs meet in front of your body. Just below that is a soft point where if you press it, it kind of hurts a bit. That's your xiphoid process. So you're going to bring your attention, focus, awareness right to that point, please. And breathe. All right. So this is the frequency distortion pattern of distraction. And depending what subgroup you're in, it's either distraction or too high of a like a brain frequency. So you're in high beta, which means that your brain is overactive. Okay? It's like you have a spinning mind. So it's very difficult to attune to the earth if you are having like a tailspin in your mind, or if you're distracted and not in your body and not present. So it's difficult to harness the full power of the earth if you're in either of those two states. So let's release these distortion patterns so that you can come to more of a sense of stillness, not complete stillness, but just more, so that you can tap into the power of Mother Earth more effectively. Okay? So all you have to do is concentrate on that point just beneath your sternum as I work on you here. There we go. Slowing down the mind. Good. So now, let's connect even more to Pure Source by asking the following question. How can I become even more aware of my connection only to Pure Source? That question again is, how can I become even more aware of my connection only to Pure Source? And as you ask yourself that question, please imagine, see, sense, feel, or become aware of a brilliance deep within your body that becomes even brighter, more expanded, even more radiant as you become even more aware of your connection only to Pure Source. And on my end, I'm working on the back end so that we can increase your natural bandwidth. Good. So now please imagine, see, sense, feel, or become aware of the edges of your ribs in front of your body. The edges of your rib cage. Okay. Okay. So this is the distortion pattern of disassociation from the earth. So it's like a disconnect. So obviously we're all of the earth. Our bodies are from the earth. We are physical in nature. And there's a disconnect that's happening in this group from the earth, whether it's because we, are always wearing our shoes and we're never barefoot on the earth, or we're always distracted with our mobile devices, or we're constantly working, or we're always indoors or in our cars and never outside, or always at the gym and not outside. This is disconnection, this distortion pattern of disconnection. So it's difficult to fully take in the power of the earth that is natural to us if this is running through us. So let's just correct this a little bit, or remove this distortion pattern, so you can fully fall back into alignment and then be able to tap into this resource more easily. So just being aware of the edges of your ribs in the front part of your body. Good. Excellent. All right. So your homework after you finish listening to this meditation is to either put your feet on the grass or on the earth somewhere, or walk along the beach, or walk amongst the trees, or hold a stone in your hand. Okay, or go look at the sky. Okay, so now please bring your attention to your heart space and your pelvis. So if you need to, or it's helpful to you, to imagine these two spaces and then create a tube, or imagine a tube connecting these two spaces, that's perfectly fine. And if you can just imagine those two spaces separately without connecting them, that's fine. Whatever works best for you. So what I'm doing, so if you could please imagine almost like a diamond shape. So the apex of the diamond is in your heart. The edges of your pelvis, the widest point of your pelvis, are the two, widest points of the diamond. And then the bottom point of the diamond is the center of the earth. Okay? It's bringing you fully in alignment and grounding you into the earth. Okay? So that you are stable and clear. It will also help you to process out some of this very static, it's almost like hot residue that you're getting from looking at mobile devices, TVs, phones, iPads, computers, whatever it is, that you're either watching for recreation or watching for work. It's actually causing this heat almost in your brains. So, and in your systems. For some of you, it's actually overloaded through your brain. It's now being absorbed by the rest of your body. So we need to have you sort of dump it somewhere so that you can not become physically symptomatic. So just imagine a diamond shape from your heart being the top point, the edges of your pelvis being the two widest points of the diamond, and the bottom point being the center of the earth. And as you imagine that, imagine anything that you don't need dropping into the center of the earth. And you don't have to worry. She has a lot of capacity to transmute this type of energy. So you're not hurting her. Helping you first to release this sort of static heat out of your body into the earth, like a grounding rod, really. Good. So now imagine the frequency of vibration energy of the center of the earth coming up to the very bottom point of the diamond into your pelvis and then up into your heart space. Good. This group needs a little bit more, so we're going to have it wash through your whole body, okay? So you're going to imagine, see, sense, feel, or become aware of the vibration, frequency, energy of Mother Earth coming up from the center of the earth, washing up through your feet like water, through your ankles, washing away anything you don't need, up into your calves and into your knees, up through your thighs, into your groin, up through your hips, your butt, and your tailbone, washing through your womb space if you're a woman, through your belly, all your organs, up your spine, washing up through your ribs, through your heart and your lungs, washing up your back body and now your front body into your collarbones, through your arms, your hands and your fingertips, up your neck, through your skull and your brain, and then all the way out of your crown. Good. Nice. All right. So please bring your attention to your groin and your lower belly, please. So, as you likely have noticed yourself, when you go to a place of nature, the beach, the woods, the mountains, there is a time that feels slower. So Earth time is slower than our sort of human busy time, when we got up and work and such. So for this group listening to this, there's a tendency to fall out of Earth time very quickly. Meaning this Mother Earth slower time, and falling into busyness very easily, which can be very hyperactive. It can cause anxiety, it can cause stress. So what I'm going to do is to remove the distortion pattern of that over sped up time and amplify the time of, let's call it Earth time. Okay? So Mother Earth time, which is really the now, which is why it feels so slow. So let's expand this. Well, first, let's remove the distortion pattern. So just focus on your groin and into your lower belly. Good. Notice if you can rest here in this more expanded, slow sense of time. Or notice if you feel anxious, like you need to do something. For that small subgroup of you that feel like you do, let me remove this distortion pattern of anxiety around stillness. Good. So this is a good place to leave you for as long as you would like. And I look forward to meeting you on the next GFC.